Hey guys, if you're at the airport and you see a pilot that looks like this, bad things are about to happen. There's a detail in that photo you may not have picked up on, but you're looking at a pilot who's dangerous, reckless, possibly a psychopath, and bad things are about to happen. Let's take a deeper dive into that photo and learn why you don't want to fly with this pilot. You don't even want him at your airport. So what is it about this pilot that tells me if I see him, I'm going to turn around, go back home, stock up on food and supplies for a while, and just hunker down? It's this right here. This is a pilot who's chosen to only bring one bag with him, and that's not even an overnight bag, that's just a flight bag. It doesn't contain anything he needs on a trip lasting more than just a couple of hours. Just a flight bag, no overnight bag. And how do I know this is a dangerous pilot? Not only dangerous to himself, but potentially dangerous to everyone around him and possibly the world? Because I was that pilot. There was a beautiful day this spring. I decided I wanted to pick up a little extra overtime, so I called my company and I said, "Hey, Captain T-Bone wants a little extra cheddar. What you got for me?" And they said, "What?" I said, First Officer Turner would like to pick up some overtime. Do you have any flights available?" Which is also not how the system works, but I'm not here to explain our super advanced and complex systems. They're so advanced and futuristic that you wouldn't even get it. It's AS400 running EPSIDEC, I'm pretty sure. 6 of you will get that. To the rest of you, that was really funny. Anyway, it was a wonderful day. I had nothing to do, which is rare. So I decided to pick up some overtime just to make a little extra money. So I said, "What do you got for me?" That's an out and back. We call it a turn. I'm just going to go somewhere and I'm going to turn around and I'm going to come back. And they said, "Hey, we've got a trip for you." The trip they had for me was great. It was like a 5-hour trip. I was going to take the plane out to Zakat.
Okay. Not going to work here anymore anyway.
I was going to take a plane to Mexico and back. I was pretty excited about that because that's kind of a longer trip. I can throw a couple doubloons at somebody and get some LASIK or maybe some dental work done. It's pretty cheap everywhere else. If you haven't been everywhere else, I know we're not into learning. Anyway, that's not what this is about. I was going to go to Zacatecas, Mexico and come back. The weather was great. The world was perfect. Everything was wonderful. Gas was cheap. There were no wars. Milk was free. The reflecting pond was reflecting. Spirit Airlines was doing great. That's when I made this one decision that changed everything for everybody. I went to my room, to my little pilot prep area, and I looked at all the things I could potentially bring with me, and I had the thought. All right, here we are in pilot preparation corner. I got to figure out what to bring for my trip to Zacatecas to Mexico. I got my food bag, flight bag. I got my freezer bag. I got this little mini oven that's pretty good. I got my overnight bag. Wonder what all I should bring on this trip. Dude, what are you even doing? Trying to figure out what I need for this trip. I got to take this trip to Mexico, and I don't know what all I need to bring. I got to think about making sure I'm prepared for anything. Yeah, it's an out and back to Mexico. You're not going to need all that. Yeah, but what if there's bad weather? What if it rains? They say the rain in Spain stays mainly that's Spain. This is Mexico. They're two entirely different places. Just grab the one bag, dude. It's going to be fine. This is a one bag flight, man. You know what? You're right. I'm just going to bring my flight bag. I'll be out and back. I'll be home for dinner. Everything's going to be fine. The world's going to be the same tomorrow as it is today. Driving to the airport, the weather was fine. I looked up the maintenance records on the plane I was going to fly. The maintenance records were beautiful. I checked the maintenance records for the entire fleet. Every plane was perfect. I checked the weather. They solved rain. It was never going to rain again. The weather was going to be perfect forever. It was not a fact. There were no factors. All factors had been dealt with. Utopia was here. It was the perfect day to take a plane to Zacatecas, Mexico, bring it back, and then come home, live the rest of my life. Fly again the next day, another day. Then the other day is the next day. That's what I was going to do. It was all perfect. I got to the airport on this beautiful day, excited to take a bunch of people to the wonderful land of Zacatecas, Mexico, where the palm trees and the weather, it's just everything you've ever dreamed of. That's why it's so easy to pronounce, because you hear about it all the time. Zacatecas. That's going to be awesome. And then bring locals or other people who have been vacationing in this wonderful place back to Texas, because their vacation is over and they're sad to leave. Plane fills up with people who are ready to either leave or go home. I have no idea. I should really go figure out if I need to apologize for this video. I know nothing about Zacatecas, New Mexico. Mexico, not New Mexico. I don't even know what state I was in. I'm not geographically, I didn't do well in school. It could have been Oklahoma. Anyway, it wasn't though, because we had to go through customs. I'm losing it. Stay with me. Stay with me. So now I have a plane. We're in Mexico. We filled up with people. Normally I have notes behind the camera. Not today. We're just riffing. Planes full of people. They seemed happy. And we take off and we head back to Dallas. That's that. And remember I told you to turn out, turn around, come back home. My home. So I was going to come back to Dallas. We are somewhere around the San Antonio area when we hear ATC asking pilots how they want to hold. And I looked at my captain, I said, how do we want to hold? He said, we don't want to hold. We're not going to hold. I was like, that's bold of you. I said, why? He goes, we don't have the fuel for it. And that thought to myself, the little voice in the back of my head, or is it either coming from the little bag I brought that said maybe a pair of pants, a shirt, pair of something, underwear, maybe something extra. No, the world was perfect. I told you this. We're going to go back to Dallas. We're going to land. I'm going to go home and have dinner with my family. Life is wonderful. It's our turn. ATC calls us and says, yeah, we got a couple different places we're having pilots hold. And, if one works better for you, or you can divert to any one of these other fine cities. Captain's a good captain. He said, I don't wanna. Captain looks at me and says, how comfortable do you feel flying through these storms? I said, I live in a perfect world where nothing goes wrong. There are no storms in my world. Let's land. Not an option. The airport decided at that point to close down. So the airport was closed. The only option would be to hold if you had enough fuel to hold, which we did not. Plane coming from Mexico, not enough fuel to sit there for 35 minutes in a hold. Best bet, smartest bet, safest bet, land the plane. We asked again, how about Dallas? They're like, nope, we already covered that. Airport's closed. Well, we looked down and there was San Antonio. And we were pretty high up, so I could also see Austin and a couple of other places. You can see a lot of cities from, we fly high. These are big planes that go up in the air. And we said, you know what? We'll land in San Antonio, pick up some fuel. In that amount of time, the holding will have gone, the little storm we see will have moved on. Everything will be perfect. Perfect as it was prior to this flight. It was a one-bag flight, I called it. It was that kind of flight. Land in San Antonio, and we're like, just top it off, clean the windshield, air up the tires, the things you do in a 1980s-style gas station that's full service. That was the thing. We get our fuel. And we're ready to take off. And they said, well, why don't you guys go wait until Dallas opens? There's a holding pad over there. You guys can wait. Captain said, all right, we're going to go over there and wait. Figured it's a one-bag flight. It's a great day. Everything's perfect. We'll probably be here for 15 minutes. Hey, and I'm getting paid overtime. So it's all good. 30 minutes goes by. Captain goes on the radio and says, hey, what's the status of Dallas? They said, no, they've just extended the airport closure another 2 hours. I was like, well, that's not good. That's when the captain looked at me and said, hey, Brian, I got bad news. I was like, no, there's no bad news. It's a one-bag flight. It's a perfect day. Everything's great. Life is wonderful. He said, I'm timing out in 10 minutes. I said, okay. I'm new, but not that new. I know what timing out is, but I don't know the details. I said, what does that mean? He goes, if I'm airborne and I time out, we can finish the flight. If we can take off knowing that I'm going to land before my legal it's going to get too deep here. This is a deep cut. We're going back. He said, I'm timing out. I can't fly. I was like, all right. Is anyone on this plane happen to be a captain who can fly an Embraer 175? I don't speak Spanish. I'm pretty sure none of them spoke English. They may have all been Embraer 175 captains, but due to the language barrier and probably company policy, none of them stepped up and took over the captain's spot. Here's when my one-bag flight theory kind of started to fall apart. I looked at the captain. I said, okay, so that just means they'll find us another captain. He goes, well, most likely they would send it from Dallas, which, if you recall, is currently closed. I was like, yep, that's true. It's closed. He said, so there's no captains that are based here in San Antonio. The only captains in San Antonio are sitting on the ramp in these 19 planes next to us that are all probably, it's close to timing out as well. And I said, well, Captain, this is a one-bag flight. I have to have a captain. What do we do to solve this problem? He said, Brian, there are no one-bag flights. That's when they hit me. I'm not going home tonight. My plans for going home and having dinner with my family in this wonderful utopia had just been destroyed. Why? Why? Because I chose to bring one bag on a two-bag flight. All flights are two-bag flights. If you look at a lot of these captains, some flights are 3, 4, and 5-bag flights, which I don't fully understand. But this was at least a two-bag flight, and I had my one bag and one protein bar. So I said, well, Captain, we're getting paid by the hour. Why don't we just sleep in the plane till they can send us out another captain? Now, Brian, that's not an option. Not only do we have to get off this plane, but we all have to go through customs, and then they have to create another flight to get these people home tonight. I said, okay. So we taxied the plane over to a ramp, an area that can handle customs. We all deplane. We all go through customs. He and I get back on the plane and taxi it to an area where we'll sit until the new flight that they schedule for midnight is created on the schedule. I was like, great. Maybe I can fly it home. And I looked at my schedule. Sure enough, I'm flying this plane home at midnight. Then someone did the math and realized that I'm not legal for that flight because I'd been doing this one-bag flight debacle. a lot of good and bad things are happening in my brain right now. I picked this up on Note T, which is fantastic. It's good for me. I never want a flight to be delayed, canceled. I don't want any of the stuff that goes around it before the pilot. It's normally okay because you're like, well, I'm going to get compensated for my time in a situation. Sometimes when I'm away, I'm not necessarily getting compensated for my time. It's different. It's complex. But anyway, I'm getting compensated for my time. But also, it's dawning on me that I am going to get sent to a hotel in San Antonio. I am going to have to get in an Uber wearing a pilot costume and go to a store in a pilot costume and buy clothes and toiletries and food and then figure out how to formulate a 2-bag flight on the way home with only 1 bag. How's it going?
Walmart, are we?
Yeah. It's probably be the shortest Uber ride you do all night. I was supposed to fly out and back home. I was supposed to be at home tonight, so I didn't bring a bag of clothes. I just brought my, which pretty much guarantees something's going to go wrong.
Right.
And so there was bad weather, and so now I got to go to Walmart and get some clothes.
Next time you'll probably have that one small bag.
Oh, I will never
that day
travel
trip.
I will never travel without clothes again. It's like an ongoing joke too. People always say, "Oh, you're gonna jinx it. You're gonna jinx it." And we even talked about that today because I got on the plane and my captain was like, "You didn't bring an overnight bag. You realize something's gonna go wrong." I was like, "Nah, well, here I am."
Is it a maintenance issue or
Weather. So
weather? Yeah.
Yeah, I was off today, and so I picked up a trip just because if I fly on my days off, I get overtime.
Oh, there you go.
So I called this morning and there was a trip from Dallas to a town in Mexico and back. I was going to be home by about 2 p.m. And then when we were coming back into Dallas, all these storms hit and the entire airport shut down.
Oh, yeah.
And they were going to delay us. And then we started getting low on fuel. And so we landed in San Antonio to pick up fuel. And then they just shut the whole airport down. And then my captain timed out, which means he's on duty too much. And so now they're gonna fly me home in the morning. So, but yeah. In the meantime, the crew's just been giving me all kinds of crap about this is all my fault because I didn't pack any clothes to sleep in, and
they're blaming you.
Oh, absolutely. And everyone knows this is like I went through TSA, the security this morning, and she goes, "Oh, you're packing light." She goes, "You're brave." I was like, "It'll be fine." No, it's not fine.
Famous last words.
Famous last words. But I got a story, so that's what matters, right? A full-grown adult human just walked up to me in the parking lot and said, "What are you, a pilot or something?" I said, "Yeah, I am." And he goes, "I knew it." Some pretty sharp people out here in San Antonio. So that's basically the story. Had to spend the night in a hotel, didn't have anything I needed. It was a 2-bag flight. I brought 1 bag. Hundreds of flights were canceled, probably yours. Whose fault is it? My fault. Because I made a decision that day that this was going to be a 1-bag flight. And what happened? I didn't just ruin my day. I ruined a lot of people's days, both in Texas, internationally, and all over. Sometimes when you look around the world and everything seems like it's gone to crap and everything's just a mess, there very well could be just one person to blame. And this day it was me. It was me. It was my fault because I chose to do something irresponsible and reckless and dangerous and borderline psychotic, one of those two. It was one of those. It was a bad choice. So all the point of this is, when you get to the airport, you see a pilot who thinks he's going on a 1-bag flight. He's about to mess it up for everybody. I will never make this mistake again. I will now bring all kinds of extra bags. I will always bring clothes and food. And I apologize to anybody whose flights were delayed or canceled, or any of you Mexican 175 captains who weren't able to save the day that day because of the language barrier. That's my fault too. It's all my fault. But I won't do it again. But this is the story of how one decision I made on one day in the perfect utopia kind of ruined it for everybody. And for that, I apologize. Thank you guys for watching. You guys fly smart, and I'll catch you in the next one. Click this link to see the most recent video upload. Click this link to see a video that YouTube thinks you might like. Click this link to subscribe to my channel.